Alright, so Professor Jim Schultz here from my Finance 512 class. As you can see, I am in the Thinkorswim software. I wanted to spend a few minutes tonight and kind of go through a basic tutorial on setting up your support and resistance lines. Just kind of show you guys some of the things we've talked about in class. I am looking at Panera, a 4-hour chart of Panera, and you might notice that my chart looks a little different from yours. I'm actually in my real money account here, and these are the settings I personally prefer. I like a black background with green and white candles. The white candles are your bearish candles, the green candles are your bullish candles. And so this is a 4-hour chart of Panera. And so I kind of wanted to go through how to begin dissecting this guy in terms of support and resistance. So when I first set my chart up, or I first open up my charts, the first things I like to look at are just the major eye-opening levels that the market has clearly respected. And so the first one I see is kind of this high right here being respected again right here. So I'm going to draw a line, and again, to draw the lines you go to drawings, and I like to use this price level tool. There are a few others you could use, like trend lines and time levels and stuff. I like the price level because it gives you a nice horizontal line. And so I'm just going to go ahead and drop it right, if you just click and then click again, I'm going to drop it right on the high of that candle right there. And what do you notice? That was respected pretty well, because look what happened over here, right? This is an upper shadow. So that means that the bulls had it up here at one point, but the bears pushed it back down. And look where it closed. It closed, I'm sorry, this is where it opened, right? It opened right on the high of this candle, went up, and then went right back down underneath that level. So that's kind of an important level. So I'm actually going to label that. You can label it a couple different ways. You could right click, go to edit properties, and I could name this, major resistance, and then you want to have the name show at the right edge. Okay, so now over there it says major resistance. I could do that, or you could go to drawings, text note, and just left click right there and just say, get in this box here and just say major resistance. Obviously, we like to always put a question mark because you can never be 100% sure. And so either one is fine. Obviously, I just like to do that so that I can clearly see. If I'm not looking at my charts all the time, which I'm not, believe it or not, I do take a break from this stuff once in a while. But it's nice to have those things up on the screen so that when I come back, 2, 4, 8 hours later, I can quickly pick up with where I left off. So that's obviously a very clear level that I think is really important. Also, look down here. Look at this general area. The market has respected this area pretty well. So I'm going to drop a line. I'm just going to drop it. I'll drop it right there. Oh, I'm still on text notes. So let me go back to price level. I'm going to drop it right there. Now, what do you notice? I mean, it really respected that level almost to the penny here. But again, it's not a hard and fast science. You have to be a little bit judicious with how you draw these lines in terms of just trying to get the general area that the market has respected. So the market has definitely respected this area. Now, let me pause for a second. One thing you might note is that like this would be major resistance. This down here could be, a key support level. So I've got these two things drawn. Now what you notice is, I'm taking, if you look at all my candles, I've got, 70, 80 candles on the screen again, which is what I always recommend for you guys. A lot of you guys are not looking at enough candles to get a good enough context as to what the market's trying to do. If you notice, like I classified, here's 1, here's 2, here's 3, here's 1, here's 2, right? You need multiple points. Like for me, like this little cluster of candles, for example, this is not really a resistance point in my opinion. Right now, there may be times where you could kind of, you could be a little bit lenient, but that's not really good resistance in my opinion. I see a lot of you guys on your initial charts, and this is good because you guys are just starting out, right? This is really, really good. But this is not really resistance. I would need it to go down and then come back up, and which it did here actually, right? So you want to see it kind of move away from that point and then retest that point, and then you might have something on your hands. Then you might have a valid level to be aware of. And so I am actually if you look at this level, right, you see right here, this was a high, then it went down, then it came back up, and it also had some struggles with this area again. So this area catches my eye. But if you actually just go all the way to the left, what do you see? It also was an area of support. Now, you may look at that and say, Jim, that's another cluster of candles. Well, it's not quite the same as just these couple. I mean, it was up and down around this area quite a bit. And so I'm going to go ahead and drop a line down. Oh, I'm still on text note. So let's change that. I'm going to drop a line down right there. And if you notice, when you drop that line down, I mean, it respects that level pretty well, right? And so that's another key important level. The next level that I want to note is I want to just go ahead and drop drop something. Nah, I don't really want to drop it on that high. But let's see. This is obviously another key high. You see over here, it made a high, had a huge fall, came back up, and essentially retested that level. So let me go ahead, drop a line right there. So now you can see that my chart is starting to take shape. Like I got some nice clean lines that I can trade off of. Right? And so this is kind of how you would want to begin to dissect, a chart. Now, if you notice, the price action is currently resting at this point. I mean, this is the most recent candle, right? So what's going on in this area? Well, what do I see? Well, look, it kind of had an issue with this area before, then kind of muddled through, and again, it's having an issue with that area. Now, if we go back to the left, we see that over around here, it was a previous area of resistance, right? So I'm going to drop another line down right about there approximately. And what do you see? Again, it's not perfect, of course. I mean, it gets broken through more than several times, but the market continues to gravitate to this level. And so to me, this level catches my eye. And it's also very close to the current price action, which is not a requirement, but with the price action sitting here, without this level, I mean, you're waiting for it to go down here or come up here before you've got any action. Now, again, I'm not trying to force any levels here. I'm just trying to simply look at what the market is showing me. Simply just take into account where the market is trying to reach for, because like we've talked about in class, and you guys will see this when you do a little bit more trading, the market reacts to certain levels and it reaches for certain levels, and so we want to take advantage of that. Alright, so how would I begin to take advantage of this? Well, again, you have a support level here potentially, so I'm going to put down possible support. If you wanted to, this level corresponds to, if you go all the way over to the right hand axis, well, the exact level is 161.57. You could put a limit buy at 161.57 if you wanted to, right? So I put a limit buy at 161.57. Now, what level would I be targeting? Well, the two most logical targets from this point would be this level, previous resistance, and this level, the major resistance level that I am fully anticipating Panera having a hard time with if it gets back up to these levels anytime soon. That is almost nothing's a guarantee, but I will be shocked if this thing just steamrolls right through that level. I really don't think that's going to happen. And so if you get in down here, this is a logical price target. This is a logical price target, right? Now, where do you want to place your stop? Well, I would probably place my stop underneath the lows of these lower shadows that I'm kind of pointing out, right? These lower shadows are also, it's kind of another level slightly below the one that we have noted where the market had a bit of a difficult time getting any lower. And so I would want to put my stop level, maybe, let me go ahead and just write it in here. I might want to put it maybe down here, maybe. Oh, that's not what I wanted. Text note, yeah, that's right. I would probably put my stop sell down here. Right? Put it down there somewhere. Put it down around, it looks like around 159 or so. Because right there, that's about 160.60. So that'll give you a little bit of breathing room, right? So if this is 160.60, and you put it down at, let's say you put it at 159 even, right, just to make the numbers easy. You get in at 161.50 just to make the numbers even. So you're risking $1.50, and let's say that you just simply target this 166 level. So I'm getting in at 161.50, targeting 166. That's $4.50 on the upside, and I'm risking $1.50. That's a 3-to-1 trade, right? So that is 3 3 to 1 R and R. Oh, R. Right, so that's how this trade is setting up. And so I hope this was helpful for you guys. I'll clearly be getting into things like Fibonacci and retracements and even more sophisticated support and resistance analysis in the future. But I just kind of wanted to break down one chart and kind of show you guys my thought process as I start to put this thing together.